The best business leaders know that their employee experience defines reality, not their stated rules and aspirations. And let me tell you why this matters so much. Because I think it might change the way you develop yourself as a leader. I also want to tell you why the comedian, believe it or not, Jimmy Carr, is a role model that we can all learn from. I share this line a lot in the hope that it lands with others as much as it did with me. Experience defines reality, not what you state reality is. And the longer I work with leaders, the more I think it might be the most important sentence in leadership. Because for me, it explains in just a few words why so much leadership goes wrong, even when the leader is bright, well intentioned, well trained, and convinced that they are doing a good job. So before I share a story about the comedian Jimmy Carr, which I promise is relevant, can I ask that you hit the like button if you take away something during this video that you can use, and that you share it with someone who also might be inspired by it. It's my own personal feedback loop. Okay, so Jimmy Carr is a favorite comedian of mine. When you watch him do his sets, both scripted and unscripted, it's clear that he does not decide whether he is funny. The room does. Every night, in real time, with their faces, their laughter. And when it goes wrong, there's silence. He doesn't argue with that silence. He doesn't tell himself that the audience just didn't get it. Something that stayed with me in a recent interview that he did is that every night, without fail, he reflects. He has a notebook. He goes home and he works on the bits that didn't land. His quest for mastery has resulted in mastery. He notices the line that got a bigger laugh than he expected. He notices the joke that he was sure about, but actually died. He rewrites, he tries again, he watches the next room. 20 years of that, his stand-up looks like, my God, this guy's got talent. And for sure, he's talented. But I am certain that the reason why he's considered world-class and a master of his craft, and the reason that it looks effortless, is that it's practiced in front of audience who tell the truth at every show with their faces, whether he likes it or not. The best leaders that I have ever met work the same way. You can stand in front of a whole company, a team, a few people, and you can state your values. You can mention them in the all hands. And that is what I would call stated reality. But experienced reality is something else entirely. The ambiguous and inconsistent performance standard, the ever-changing priorities, the one-on-ones you bump to another day or cut short or you're not engaged with, the decisions that you announce but really don't really explain the reasoning, the credit perhaps that you took without really noticing. Perhaps it's the commitment you broke or the Slack message that you sent late at night without really thinking about the person sitting at home that didn't want to receive it. Your team is not listening to your stated reality, how you want to operate, how you expect them to operate. They are reading the experienced one, the one made of small accumulating moments that tell them what is actually true. And the difficult thing here is that most leaders think that they are a good, sometimes great leader. They believe they are a good listener. They believe that they coach their people. They believe they keep all or most of their commitments. The self-image holds day after day because nothing in their working life forces them to compare it with real evidence. Meanwhile, the team is watching. And what the team experiences is what becomes true. The same principle runs through everything else a leader does. So, for example, strategy is craft. It gets better quarter after quarter when the leader treats it as something they are practicing and getting better at and developing as a skill and a capability. You make a choice. You watch what happens. You talk to the people closest to the work. You notice what you got right and wrong. You revise. The next quarter, you get better. The strategy adapts as the quarters roll. Goal setting and how you manage the day to day is craft too. Who sets the goal? The experience of setting the goal and how you go about achieving it, and what happens at the end of the quarter. These define a team's desire to step outside their comfort zone and break new ground as far as performance goes. The same for the day to day, how we interact, what gets noticed and recognized, what is ignored. Those moments mean nothing to one person and everything to another person. The best leaders and managers, they're the Jimmy Carrs. They watch in meetings, in corridors, in the work itself. They watch faces. They watch what people do after the meeting, not just during it. They notice when a message lands and when it didn't, and they don't lie to themselves about which is which. They ask and they listen for what is actually being said, not the polite version as well, the version that confirms what they already think. They get good at the questions that produce the real answer, and they get good at not flinching when the answer they didn't want or didn't expect arrives. They reflect deliberately after the fact, not just when something goes wrong. Every time. The meeting that went well. Why did it go well? The decision that landed. Why did that land? The conversation that didn't. What did they miss? Each one, when you think about it, is data. Over time, a good leader's data model of themselves, well, that gets more accurate, not less. This is not the glamorous part of leadership. It's repetitive work, but it is the work. Most leaders, somewhere around the point that they become senior enough that nobody pushes back hard, well, I think they quietly stop doing this. It's not a moral failure, it's a structural risk. Because the further you get from the work, it's easier to stop listening, watch less, be less careful, trust your instincts a bit more, perhaps than you should. You start being the only person in the room who thinks that the meeting went really well, and nobody is going to tell you that it didn't. Why would they? This is the moment most leadership careers quietly plateau. They keep getting promoted, they keep getting paid, they stop getting better. And here's what I want to say, and it's the most important thing I think I've got that I need to land. The craft can be taught, all of it. The watching, the asking, the reflecting, the strategy bit, the goal setting bit, the way you turn attention into something a team can believe in and execute on. None of this is innate. None of it requires you to be born with it. It is all teachable, learnable, practicable. Comedians like Jimmy Carr, well, they don't get good alone. They have writing rooms, mentors, peers who watch their set and tell them the truth. It's brutal. Clubs that give them somewhere to fail in front of small audiences before they fail in front of big ones. The whole ecosystem exists to make the craft transmissible. And leadership is no different. We can teach the moves. We can coach people through the moments that matter. We can mentor them through the seasons of their career. We can make the practices consistent across a team and over time, and we can make them cultural, the way it is around here. Not a thing one person or one group of managers do, just a thing we do around here. This is how we operate. This is how we behave. This works, and it is real, and it compounds. But it will only work under one condition, and that condition is the leader needs to want to learn. They need to want to practice. They need to want to be in a room where their truth is told. It sounds obvious, but you cannot teach someone who has decided that they already know, and you cannot coach someone who has stopped reflecting. You cannot build a craft into a person who believes that they've already arrived. And if the leader is willing, though, genuinely willing, the rest is so doable. The methods exist, the frameworks exist, the gap between today and a great year, however enormous, that can be bridged. Again, if that leader is not willing, though, no framework will help, no book will help, no course they can attend will help. They will keep stating their reality. The team will keep experiencing the other one, and the gap between the two will become the culture. So the question I would like to leave you with isn't whether you're a good leader. That's not the question. You don't get to answer that one. The room does. The question is whether you're willing to treat your leadership as a craft, to watch what lands, to ask what isn't being said, to reflect honestly on the gap between what you stated and what your people experienced. To keep doing it every day, after every meeting, after every quarter, after every year, not because someone told you to, but because that's what the craft requires. If the answer is yes, you have decades of work ahead and you will do well. And it will be some of the most rewarding work that you ever do. If the answer is no, that's fine. You're being honest. Just don't be surprised when the team you lead 20 years from now are experiencing something quite different from what you stated all along. The craft I've been talking about is real, it's teachable, it's predictable, and it compounds. We train it, we coach it, we mentor it. Again, the question is whether you want to learn it. I hope this has inspired you to be a better leader and to be reflective in your practice. Like if you took something away that you can use, follow for more leadership know how, hard earned advice, and insights that work.